Om Shanti. Baba's Sakar Murli, 21st of June 2021. Essence. Sweet children, there is just one way to become pure. Have remembrance of the Father. Only the effort of having remembrance will be useful at the end. Question. What tilak should you apply at the confluence age so that you receive the tilak of the kingdom in the golden age? Answer. At the confluence age, apply the tilak of being a soul, a point, and not a body. Continue to make it firm within yourself that you are a soul and that you have to claim your inheritance from the Father. Baba is a point, and I am also a point. With this tilak, you will attain the tilak of the kingdom of heaven. Baba says, if you remember me, I guarantee that you will be saved from crying for half the cycle. Om Shanti. You need to have this concern. I, the soul, definitely need to remember the Father, because only then can I become pure. All the effort is required just for this. However, you children are unable to make this effort. Maya troubles you a lot. She makes you forget to have remembrance of the one Father, because there is remembrance of other beings. You then don't remember the Father or the bridegroom. You have to do the service of remembering such a bridegroom for a minimum of 8 hours. You have to give your bridegroom help by remembering him. That is, you children should remember the Father. This endeavour is very great. The term Manmanabhav is mentioned in the Gita. Continue to remember the Father. Continue to remember the one Father whilst walking and moving around. There is nothing else you have to do. At the end, it is this remembrance that will be useful. Consider yourself to be a bodiless soul who now has to return home. You have to make a great deal of this effort. In the morning, after bathing, etc., come and sit in solitude on the roof terrace or in the hall. The more solitude there is, the better. Always think that you have to remember the Father. You have to claim your full inheritance from the Father. You have to make this effort every 5,000 years. You will not have to make this effort in the golden, silver, copper and iron ages. It is only at the confluence age that the Father tells you, remember me, that is all. This is the time when the Father says, remember me. The Father only comes at the confluence age. He doesn't come at any other time. You also know this, number-wise, according to the efforts you make. Many children forget the Father, and this is why they are deceived a great deal. Ravan is very deceitful. He is your enemy for half the cycle. This is why the Father says, wake up early every morning and churn this ocean of knowledge, and keep your chart of how long you remembered the Father and how much rust would have been removed. Everything depends on remembrance. You children have to try very hard to claim your full inheritance. You have to become Narayan from ordinary humans. This is the story of the true Narayan. Devotees have a gathering on the day of the full moon when they relate the story of the true Narayan. You now know that you have to become 16 celestial degrees full. You can only become that by having remembrance of the true Father. The Father is the one who gives you Srimad. The Father says, you may live at home and do your business, etc., but you definitely have to remember the Father and become pure. That is all. If you don't remember the Father, you are deceived by Ravan in one way or another. This is why the main thing of remembrance is explained to you. You have to remember Shiv Baba. Forget all your bodily relations, including your bodies, and have the faith that each of you is a soul. The Father repeatedly tells you, consider yourselves to be souls and remember the Father. Otherwise, you will be deceived a great deal, and there will have to be a lot of repentance at the end. You will be slapped so hard that Maya will make your faces completely ugly. The Father has come to make your faces beautiful. At this time, everyone continues to make each other's face ugly. It is only the one Father who can make you beautiful, and it is by remembering Him that you will become the beautiful masters of heaven. This is the impure world. The Father comes to make the impure ones pure. Baba has no connection with your business, etc. You can continue with whatever you need to do for the livelihood of your body. The Father simply says, Man Manapaf. You can ask how you can become the masters of the pure world. The Father says, simply remember me, that is all. There is no other way to become pure. No matter how much they donate, or how much charity they perform, or how much effort they make even to walk on fire, etc. Nothing except having remembrance of the Father will be useful. This is a very simple thing. It is called easy yoga. Ask yourself for how long you remember your sweet Father throughout the whole day. No sins are committed when you are asleep. You become bodiless at that time. However, throughout the day, a lot of sins are committed, and there are still the sins of the past. You have to make effort to have remembrance. You have come here, and so you have to make this effort. Finish all the wasteful thoughts of everything outside. Otherwise, it will spoil the atmosphere very much. Sometimes you continue to have thoughts of your home or farm, etc. Sometimes you remember your children, and sometimes your guru. If you continue to have these thoughts, you spoil the atmosphere. Those who don't make effort continue to create obstacles. These are such subtle matters. Only at this time, and at no other time, do you know this. Only at this time does the Father give you the inheritance, and He then becomes carefree for half the cycle. There is so much difference between the concerns of your worldly fathers and those of the unlimited Father. The Father says, I have so many concerns on the path of devotion. The devotees remember me so much again and again. No one remembers me in the Golden Age. The Father says, I give you so much happiness that you don't need to remember me there. At that time, I know my children are sitting in the land of peace or the land of happiness. No other human beings can understand this. Maya creates obstacles in their intellects to having faith in such a Father. The Father says, simply remember me, and the alloys of silver, copper and iron that are mixed in you will be removed. As you go from the Golden Age to the Silver Age, there are 2 degrees less. You listen to and understand these things. These things will sit very clearly in the intellects of those who are true Brahmins. Otherwise, they won't sit in their intellects. They won't be able to stay in remembrance. Everything depends on remembering the Father. He repeatedly says, children, remember the Father. This Baba also says, remember Shiv Baba. Shiv Baba himself says, remember me, the Father. He calls you souls, O children. The incorporeal Supreme Soul speaks to souls. This is the main thing. First of all, tell anyone who comes to remember Alpha. You don't need to go on and on about anything else. Simply tell them, consider yourselves to be souls and remember the Father. Continue to make this firm in yourself. I am a soul. It is remembered that Tulsidas rubbed sandalwood to form a paste, and Raghuvir gave the tilak, brackets of that paste. However, it is not a question of a physical tilak. You understand that the tilak is, in fact, a memorial of this time. You continue to stay in remembrance, that is, you are given the tilak of the kingdom. You will receive the tilak of the kingdom and become double-crowned. You will receive the tilak of the kingdom, that is, you will become emperors and empresses of heaven. The Father explains everything to you so easily. Simply remember you are souls and not bodies. You have to receive your inheritance from the Father. You souls know you are points, and that Baba is also a point. Baba is the ocean of knowledge and the ocean of happiness. He gives us blessings. He comes and sits next to this one. A guru seats his disciple next to him and teaches him. This one is also sitting next to him. He simply tells you, children, consider yourselves to be souls and constantly remember me alone. You consider yourselves to be souls in the Golden Age, but you don't know the Father. I, the soul, shed a body and take another. According to the drama, such are your parts. This is why your lifespans there remain long. You remain pure there. In the Golden Age, your lifespans are long, whereas in the Iron Age, they are short. There you are yogis, whereas here you are bhogis, brackets indulge in vice. Yogis are pure. There is no kingdom of Ravan there, so lifespans are long. Here, lifespans are so short. This is called the suffering of karma. There is never any untimely death there. The Father says, you have recognized the Father, and so you have to follow Srimad. Remember the one Father. Consider yourself to be a soul. I now have to return home, and so I have to shed this body. Use the rest of your time for doing service. You children are very poor, and this is why the Father feels mercy. He doesn't give any difficulty to you old mothers and the hunchbacked. Those who are old are called hunchbacked. It is explained to the old mothers, remember the Father. When someone asks you where you are going, tell him that you are going to a Gita Pathshala. The Krishna soul takes 84 births and is now here taking knowledge from the Father. Some children spend so much on exhibitions, etc. They even write that so-and-so was very impressed. But Baba says, none of them writes to say that the unlimited Father truly has come into the body of Brahma at this time, and that it is only from him that you can receive the inheritance of heaven. Baba then understands that not a single one has had that faith. They simply become impressed that this knowledge is very good, and you have explained the picture of the ladder very well. But they themselves don't stay in yoga and become Satiprathan from Tamoprathan. They simply say that the explanation you give of receiving the inheritance from God is very good, but they themselves don't want to receive it. They don't make any effort at all. Many subjects will be created, but it takes effort to become a king. Each of you can ask your own heart, to what extent do I stay in remembrance of the Father and remain cheerful? We are, once again, becoming deities. Sit in solitude and talk to yourself. Try this for yourself. Continue to remember the Father because he guarantees that you will never cry for half the cycle. You now say, Baba comes and enables you to conquer Maya, Ravan. Whatever effort each of you makes, you do it for yourself. You will then go to the new world. Since you have to become Satiprathan from Tamoprathan, the karmic accounts of the old world have to be settled. He also shows you the way to become pure. This is the time of settlement, and everything has to be destroyed. The new world is to be established. You know that you will shed your bodies in the land of death, and then go to the new world of immortality. We are studying for the new world. There is no other study place like this one where they teach for the future. Yes, those who donate a lot and perform a lot of charity take birth to a king. There is a saying, a golden spoon in the mouth. You receive that in the Golden Age. Even in the Iron Age, those who take birth to kings also receive it. Nevertheless, there are many types of sorrow here. You will not have any sorrow for your future 21 births. You will never fall ill. You will have a golden spoon in heaven. Here, people have a kingdom for a temporary period. You receive it for 21 births. You have to use your intellects very well about all of these things, and then explain them to others. It isn't that you can't become kings on the path of devotion. When someone builds a college or a hospital, he receives the return of that. If he opens a hospital, he receives good health in his next birth. They say, throughout his whole life, this one hasn't even had a fever. They have long lifespans. When someone has donated a lot and opened a hospital, etc., his lifespan increases. Here you become ever healthy and wealthy by having yoga. By having yoga you receive good health for 21 births. This is a very big hospital and a very big college. The Father explains everything very clearly. The Father says, any of you can go and study wherever your heart likes and at whatever centre you enjoy. No one should say, you should only come to our centre. Why are you going to that centre? No, any of you can go to any centre you want. It is the same thing. It is the same murali that is read everywhere. This murali is sent from here, brackets Madhaban, and then some read it very well with explanation, whereas others simply read it straight. Those who give lectures issue very good challenges. Wherever there is a lecture, first of all tell them, Shiv Baba says, consider yourselves to be souls and remember me, your Father, and your sins will be absolved, and you will become pure and the masters of the pure world. He explains to you so easily. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bap Dada. The spiritual Father says Namaste to the spiritual children. And the spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual Father. Essence Vedana. 1. Let go of wasteful thoughts of external things. Sit in solitude and make effort to remember the Father. Wake up early in the morning and churn the ocean of knowledge, and also look at your chart. 2. Just as donations and charity are important on the path of devotion, so remembrance is important on the path of knowledge. Make your soul ever healthy and wealthy with remembrance. Practice remaining bodiless. Blessing. May you be master knowledgeful and donate jewels of knowledge with your words. Those who donate jewels of knowledge with their words receive the blessing of being master knowledgeful. Each and every word of theirs is very valuable. Many souls are thirsty to listen to every word of theirs. Every word of theirs is full of sense, and they have special happiness. Their treasure stores are overflowing, and this is why you always remain content and cheerful. Their words are impressive. By donating words, you develop many virtues in your speech. Slogan. Become a self-sovereign, and you will claim a right to the full inheritance. Om Shanti.